If your cardiovascular system were a rock band, B-complex vitamins would be the behind-the-scenes crew making sure every instrument is tuned, every amp is plugged in, and no one forgets the lyrics. Read metabolic pathways. They don't take center stage like omega-3s or statins, but without them, your heart's performance can go from a smooth jazz ensemble to a disorganized garage band with a faulty smoke machine. Specifically, B1 thiamine, B2 riboflavin, B6 pyridoxine, and B12 cobalamin play a low-key but critical role in keeping your cardiovascular system rhythmically sound and your mitochondria from fizzling out during the encore. At the biochemical level, B6, B12, and their close cousin folate form the nutritional holy trinity of homocysteine regulation. Homocysteine is an amino acid that naturally circulates in your blood, but when it lingers in excess, it behaves like an uninvited guest at a formal dinner party, knocking over wine glasses, sparking inflammation, and quietly raising your risk of atherosclerosis and blood clots. B6 helps convert homocysteine into cysteine, a harmless and even helpful compound, while B12 and folate help remethylate it back into methionine. In other words, these vitamins are your homocysteine cleanup crew, transforming it before it becomes an arterial hazard. Numerous studies have linked elevated homocysteine levels with increased cardiovascular risk, and while B vitamin supplementation doesn't always translate into reduced heart attacks on paper, it definitely plays a long game, quietly modulating endothelial health, clotting behavior, and vessel tone. Then there's vitamin B2, the underrated sibling in the B-complex family, often hiding in the background like a brilliant keyboardist no one ever talks about. B2 helps recycle folate into its active form, which means that even if you're popping B12 and folic acid, without enough riboflavin, your homocysteine metabolism might still be running on dial-up. B2 also supports the activity of MTHFR, an enzyme that's often impaired in people with common genetic polymorphisms. Yes, that MTHFR gene you've seen on genetic reports. When MTHFR function is compromised, folate metabolism stalls, and homocysteine begins its slow, sulky accumulation. So B2 isn't just nice to have, it's part of the foundation for keeping your homocysteine response flexible and responsive. Let's not forget B1, the slightly vintage, but still vital nutrient whose deficiency can cause classic cardiovascular dysfunctions like wet beriberi, which sounds like a retro beachside cocktail but is actually a very serious condition involving heart failure and fluid retention. Even in less extreme cases, thiamine helps maintain myocardial function, supports energy generation from glucose, and may have antihypertensive properties. Small studies in hypertensive and diabetic populations have found that B1 supplementation can modestly reduce blood pressure, possibly by improving vascular tone and mitochondrial output in endothelial cells. Basically, B1 keeps your heart from getting hangry. It ensures that cardiac muscle cells are well-fed, well-fueled, and well-behaved. Zooming out, all these B vitamins work like a metabolic pit crew during a Formula One race. They help convert the food you eat into ADP, the energy currency of your cells. That's not just important for your treadmill sprints or dance battles at weddings. It's especially critical for the hardest working organ in your body, the heart. Your cardiac cells burn through enormous amounts of energy just to maintain the steady lubed-up rhythm that keeps you alive. B1, B2, B6, and B12 support the enzymes that drive this energy production, especially in the mitochondria. When levels are low, it's like trying to run a power station with a flickering generator. Inefficiency builds, oxidative stress increases, and the risk of cardiac dysfunction creeps upward. Now, before you run out and stockpile B-complex supplements like a squirrel hoarding multivitamins for winter, let's be clear, more is not always better. The relationship between B vitamins and cardiovascular health follows a curve, not a straight line. While deficiency is undoubtedly harmful, excessive supplementation can also backfire. High doses of B6 have been linked to sensory neuropathy, and while B12 is water-soluble and generally considered safe, megadoses have been associated in some studies with increased cancer risk or all-cause mortality in certain populations. Context matters. Genetics matter. And so does the form of the vitamin, methylated versus synthetic, your baseline levels, and how well your body absorbs and utilizes them. This is why personalized dietary strategies are increasingly replacing the just take a B-complex and hope for the best approach. For someone with MTHFR mutations, riboflavin and methylfolate might be more impactful than B12 alone. For vegans or those with low stomach acid, B12 supplementation, especially sublingual or injectable, might be essential. For people with alcohol use, thiamine deficiency is a real threat. And for anyone with persistent hypertension, looking into B1 status could be a stealthy yet strategic move. The beauty of B vitamins is that they're humble team players. They don't try to steal the spotlight, but they know that without them, your cardiovascular system simply can't run its show. Whether they're supporting energy production, lowering homocysteine, regulating blood pressure, or feeding your mitochondria, these micronutrients are the biochemical equivalent of a strong baseline. You may not always notice them, but you'll definitely feel it when they're missing. So treat your B vitamins well, and they'll keep your heart humming along like the soundtrack of your longest, healthiest life.